How far would you go to avenge a fallen friend? Would you take their place? Would you carry their mission? Would you risk everything, knowing that you might fall next? In most games, death means nothing. Not in this run. In this run, when a Pokemon faints, they're gone forever. Every death means a new partner, a new team, and a little less hope of saving the world. This is a real PMD Nuzlocke, where the balance completely falls apart, and the emotional damage starts stacking like enemies in a monster house. There are 5 main rules to this run. 1. Permadeath. If a Pokemon faints, they're gone. 2. No bringing items into dungeons. Items found in dungeons are okay. Rule number 3, there's a strict level cap. We can only level to 1 above the strongest enemy in the next dungeon. And rule number 4, no shops, no link moves, no Krogon, no Wonder Mail, no bailouts. And lastly, no TMs. Pokemon can only use moves that they would naturally learn. The first attempt of our PMDLocke starts, and after some strange questions, we pick up Charmander and Mudkip. Okay, we'll get to the important part. We'll get to the part you guys don't care about. You guys don't care about learning about me. What? Okay, so this is... Charmander's typically what I first played through the game as. These were actually the first duo that I ever beat Red Rescue with, so I was confident they could carry me through this run. Unfortunately, there's no plot armor here, and nostalgia doesn't contribute to Charmander's defensive stats. We easily dispatch Beach Cave and the bullies, as well as clearing Drenched Bluffs to get our next 2 teammates. So this is kind of how recruitment is going to work. So what we'll do is we'll say, okay, the first dungeon, Beach Cave, we'll do this first one as 1, 2, 3, 4 Pokemon, and we'll hit spin. And then we'll say, okay, it's going to land on 2, I think. 2. So yeah, that would be Kabuto would join our team next time. And after we finish the main story, we'll be able to pick Kabuto at any time. We will spin the wheel. Are you guys ready? Woo! One. I feel like, is that Shellos? Shellos freaking... Oh no, it's Shelter. Shelter also, I think, stinks. All right, Shelter is now in the Alive section. We'll probably add him to our party because it's fun. Okay, next dungeon. So we did that and we did Drenched Bluffs. Is Mount Bristle really next? It's kind of hard. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll choose between these 4 again. I think Chingling would be like the best one here, but I don't think we can really go wrong. That's not... I know Chingling's 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, well, we were pretty much guaranteed to get a Shellos at some point, so... Clampy the Shelter and Shellmaxer the Shellos joined our team. These new recruits looked more like they belonged in a seafood restaurant than an exploration team, but they arrived at the perfect time and wouldn't sit on the sidelines for long. As a side note, all encounters will randomly be selected from the available Pokemon after clearing a dungeon. With Mount Bristle coming up, I knew Charmander wasn't going to cut it. Mount Bristle is almost exclusively rock Pokemon. Charmander wouldn't be able to hit anything for super effective and would be at risk of dying early. Switching up the party would be the best move. Mount Bristle is the first real hurdle of the run, having 9 floors with a tough Drowzee as the boss at the top. It's funny that everybody inherently trusts Drowzee around children in this game, because canonically, the Drowzee line has a bad track record with children. Hold on, oh no, what? Drowzee's bad? What? What a twist. Newly minted Team 1 Life set off for the top of the mountain, with Clampy the Shelter and Muddy the Mudkip. Everything was going well. Clampy had Withdrawal, Supersonic, and Tackle. Withdrawal increasing defense was great because every Pokemon besides Chingling hit with physical damage. Similarly, in a pinch, Supersonic would always create confusion, which is extremely OP in Pokémon Mystery Dungeon. Everything was going great until I'm so strong. I do not care. Okay, well, Mudkip, that's a lot of damage, Mudkip. That's a lot of damage, Mudkip. Okay, so I was not throwing there. That is the first death of the run. That's not good. Mudkip was really good. Muddy had started this journey all alone, but on this quest, he had picked up friends. Friends that would carry on the journey in his memory. Muddy was the first loss of the run, and with Mudkip's spirit sent to eternal rest, we had to pick a new partner and settled on another water type. Shellos. Our new team was Shellmaxer the Shellos and Clampy set off for Mount Bristle. Shellos had Mudslap, Harden, and Water Pulse. Water Pulse was stab and sniped enemies from across the room. If enemies got close, Harden increasing defense and Mudslap lowering opposing accuracy would increase his survivability. Clampy the Shelter also had some nice moves. Wait, is Shellos a pure water type or is it water and ground? I honestly don't remember, guys. I'm like shockingly not good at Pokemon. I'm sorry. Does it tell me what? Okay, he's only water. Okay. I had that Machop came near and I was like, wait, is Shellos ground type? Am I gonna die? He's gonna miss. Yeah, there we go. I don't think he can one. Oh, yeah, there we go. Dude, Shellos is so much better than Mudkip. He's healing himself. Like, he's doing exactly what I want him to. I was like, I hope Shellos just, like, avoids one hit and sits in there and you know, we get it done. Okay, I'm not sure if this is canon, but, like, I always saw as a kid, if you got a Pokemon to run away, if you followed them, they would default run to the door. I don't know why. Did anybody else have that, like, canon thought? I feel like that's some, like, deep, like, Poke lore that, like, I made up, like, pressing the B button, the different, like, things you do to catch. But for Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, mine was, if you make a Pokemon run away and chase them, they'll always go to the door. I don't know if that just, like, happened to me a couple of times, and I was just like, oh, word association. As we approached the first boss, my confidence was booming. Supersonic and Withdrawal made it almost impossible for mobs to kill Clampy, and Shellmaxer provided valuable support with Mudslap. But as I approached Drowzee, I knew that things could change in an instant. Drowzee was level 14, which is a huge difference from our level 9 level cap. We could harden and withdraw to survive his physical attacks such as Pound, but Drowzee boasted a stab confusion, which would ignore our boost and OHKO either Pokemon if it landed. We had to make sure we didn't get hit. And looking over our roster, I was pretty confident we had an answer. First boss, let's go! First boss and only one death so far, so that's not bad. Okay, let's go. Let's go. Where'd Mudkip go? Okay, let's see. Well, here, hold on. Will Shellos use a move automatically if I only let him use Harden? I think he will. We'll see. Well, Drowzee is a special attacker half of the time, right? But that's okay. I think, can Drowzee... Yeah, Mudhoo. Drowzee can't be confused, which is kind of coded for us. Oh my gosh! Shellmaxer is so good! That was a perfect turn! He knows exactly what I want to do! Okay, well, I can't... Okay, we'll withdraw again. I don't want to, like, chase him around. That's the thing. There we go. Okay. Okay, Drowzee, come on. Like, let's stop playing these games, brother. Ooh, that was... Man. Okay, what is... Why... Is there a reason why Shelder can't hit? What is going on? Oh, we're good. I think we just can't let him hit us with confusion. Like, I think a confusion would cook us. But I think we should be good now. We have to be close. We have to be close. Let's go! We had made it past the first boss fight. Unfortunately, we lost Muddy along the way. But as a reward for conquering Mount Bristle, we got to claim one of its inhabitants. I feel like Starly's good, right? I feel like almost any of these is good besides the duo, so this will be number 3. Okay, are you guys ready to rumble? Let's go. 5. I think that is that 4 is the bad one, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's Starly. Let's go. While Starly, or Starmaxer, was a great addition to the team, Mudkip was a huge loss. And as most Nuzlockers know, an early loss can often spiral into a wipe. But that wasn't going to happen to me. I had Shelder, who was proving to be the MVP of the run. The next part of the game has the team running errands for the guild. I start by playing it safe and taking easy dungeons in Beach Cave, but I want to prove that Shelder wasn't afraid of a challenge. I switched Shellos out for Starly. Starly's quick attack is extremely helpful in hallway fights, and with it, Shelder can wall up while Starly wails on them from behind. Quick attack is a must-have for a partner Pokemon, and it will be a common theme throughout this run. Use Withdrawal, use Supersonic, get them confused, and then let Starly just hammer them from the back. That sounds bad. You know, hey, first time streamer. We were cruising through the missions, and I was starting to get confident. I wanted to show off the power of this new team. I started by accepting more challenging jobs at Mount Bristle, which provided some difficulties. Even though the challenge increased, Shelder and Starly were able to overcome Mount Bristle again, so I decided to up the ante even more and accept an outlaw contract. You know, because I want, like, to make new content that's, like, surprising to you guys and stuff, but, okay, hold on, I have to lock in. Outlaw spotted. He boomed me! No, he boomed me! Okay, that's okay. We can let's get some growls going. I got absolutely boomed by this Chingling. No. Okay, the good thing is I can just withdraw on Shellos a bunch. But I feel like spreading some supersonics around is like what I want to do first. Because Charlie's gonna growl, it's gonna lower everything's attack. And then I just need to like, okay, that's good. That's not, okay, that's not much damage. Okay, I'm gonna have Starly start attacking now. We win these. We win these because we're absolutely goated. I think Quick Attack is stronger. We'll stop you growling. We definitely need this Chingling not to hit us. So that's good. Okay, yeah, see? We've already pretty much neutralized half of them. Guys, Shelter is so good. Like, I did not realize Shelter was going to be this good. We might as well Supersonic one more, because Confusion lasts a while, too. So it's like, yeah, they like attack each other. They pretty much cannot like really hurt us very much. Like, we win these. We win these. Shelter's so good. I honestly might stop using Shelter because I'm afraid. Oh, okay. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, no, literally every other Pokemon's confused besides this Corsola, which is dead. Yeah, we just have to keep this Chingling confused. I'm pretty sure Supersonic hits like 100% of the time, too. So it's kind of like absolutely... Okay, that's just not nice. Let's get rid of this guy first. Yeah, here we go. This is perfect position. Like because Confusion in this game, like typically in a Pokemon game, you're between that was really strong. Let's withdraw one more time. Because typically when in a Pokemon game, you're in between like, oh, it either confuses and it hits through Confusion or it doesn't. But here it's like you can confuse, you can hurt yourself in Confusion, you can move any of 8 directions, or you can attack in any of 8 directions. So it's just like Confusion is so broken. We just have to be careful because when we just need to make sure he doesn't like hit us with like a wrap and then like ruin our day or something. This guy has so much health. We really need to watch out for that because that Confusion could probably kill us. Oh my gosh, how much health does this thing have? So confused. Sorry, I'm being very patient. No! How close is he to being done? Okay. Well, I said I was gonna go after an outlaw. I thought I had him. It's like I was just like I didn't want to say it because I thought I was gonna jinx it, but I was like, the only thing that can beat us is if he comes out of Confusion and hits us with Confusion. Okay, well, that's that. Clampy, the wall, who had held strong against Drowzee and Mount Bristle, had fallen. This should be a wake-up call, not to play carelessly, but I didn't listen. The mission after replacing Clampy with Shellos, this happens. A lot of times I just don't look at items. Guys, we might be cooked. Please, I need to start paying attention, please. Okay, we need this part of the game to be over. Like, badly. I had gotten cocky, and now we were down to just 2 Pokemon. One more wipe, and the whole run would be over. Luckily for us, Waterfall Cave had just unlocked. If we cleared it, then we would have access to another Pokemon. But the situation was dire. 2 alive. 3 dead. 1 more faint and the run ends. All we had now was Charmander and Starly. So we entered Waterfall Cave, with our team being held together with duct tape and a prayer. At first it looked promising. Charmander had high stats, along with a strong scratch attack. And Starly had quick attack to provide support from behind. But the outlook was still grim, as almost every Pokemon in Waterfall Cave had a super effective move to use against Charmander, and resisted Ember. But the party was flying through the dungeon. There were some close calls, but then it happened. Like, the only thing is, I don't know how I do recruitment, because then I wouldn't know, like, what Pokemon are in each dungeon. Okay, let's growl. I feel like I'm intimidated now that Salted Neos is in here because I've talked to him and I know he's like good at the game and I'm like not that good at the game. Hold on. Okay, let's... I think that might have been a prophecy. So with Charmander down, that is now the end of the run. Charmander went down, and just like that, the run was over. We didn't have enough Pokemon left to continue. Clampy, Muddy, Shellmaxer, their deaths were all for nothing. But that's the thing about a Nuzlocke. You don't quit, you adapt. The second attempt began immediately. This time, we rolled Pikachu and partnered it with Trico, which honestly might have been the best possible early game pairing we could ask for. Pikachu started with 3 moves, Thundershock, Growl, and Tail Whip, and Trico would soon learn Absorb, offering stab damage and healing. The rock and water Pokemon of the early game didn't stand a chance with this new team. We fly through Beach Cave and Drenched Bluffs in a way that was less like a dungeon crawl and more like targeted extermination. We picked up Shellos again, and in honor of the original, named him Shellmaxer 2. Then came the Drenched Bluffs roll. So I feel like, it's gonna be... Okay. So we have 2 Shelloses now. That's a re-roll though, because we can't get Shellos. We'll do regular Nuzlocking rules where you can't repeat. Come on, stop. Okay, I think that's like the best one possible. I think we're back. Let's go. I think we're back, guys. Because that's Chingling. And this time, Chingling had Psychic typing and would learn a strong Confusion at level 14. Suddenly, this run had structure. For the first time, I had some real tools, not just Long John Silver's menu with Optimism. Mount Bristle was next, and was not to be taken lightly. But pushing to the level cap gave Pika Thunder Wave, and Trico, or Little Grove, Quick Attack. With these moves, the synergy started to click. Pika walls with Growl and T-Wave, while Trico's Quick Attack cleans up. For the first time in the series, it felt controlled. And then we reached Drowzee. Last time, we won. But the aftermath destroyed us. This time, we were smarter. Thunder Wave immediately. Double Growl to neuter damage. Tail Whip to increase pressure. Then reposition. We kept distance. Forced Paralysis procs. Managed Confusion risk. And slowly, Drowzee crumpled. And for our efforts, we were awarded with a Nidorina to join the squad, and a new exploration team started to really take shape. But this was not the time for celebration, because we just arrived at the part of the game that wiped us out last time. There would be no hubris this time around. I had learned from my mistakes, and only selected Beach Cave missions as we shot through this part of the game. After a side quest where the game forces you to cosplay someone with a foot fetish, we were back at Waterfall Cave with a full team. We cleared Waterfall Cave with relatively little drama, and as a reward, we had Tangy the Tangela to our team. Next up is Applewoods, which is looking to be a major problem for our current team. Trico and Pika had carried out the first part of this run, but Applewoods was almost all grass-type Pokemon. There was no reason for me to endanger my strongest Pokemon when I now had a full roster to pick from. As I looked over our roster, 2 Pokemon really stood out. Nidorina was Poison-type, and had a strong double kick that could clear most Applewoods enemies. Similarly, Chimeko's Psychic type resisted grass moves, and its Confusion would plow through enemies. I switched up the team and entered Applewoods. Last game, it all started to fall apart when I switched from my strong starters to the backups, but this time I was prepared. Pointy the Nidorina proved more than strong enough, and Chimeko's Confusion would one-shot any Pokemon that threatened the duo. We cleared Applewoods, still boasting 0 wipes, but the next part of the game is where the difficulty really scaled. The expedition takes the team through 4 dungeons, with the difficulty greatly spiking. At the end of the last dungeon loomed our greatest threat yet. The first dungeon, Craggy Coast, has a spike in difficulty, and you have to bring Bidoof along for the ride. But I was riding high. I still had 0 deaths in this run. Pointy the Nidorina was really proving herself. Her double kick was very strong, and her rivalry ability would be very useful as every gendered boss in the game is male. I was loving this new team. Then this happened. Unless something like really jumps out and like surprises us, like knock on wood, we should be pretty good to go. Okay. Accuracy drop. Do I have anything? We're gonna take the Oranberry just in case. Okay, he's gonna boom me with something else, but at least he got poisoned. Okay, so what Bidoof dying means that well, he dropped my accuracy, so I wasn't gonna be able to hit him. Oh. Okay, Bidoof dying means that we lose one of our guys, so I guess we'll do a random coin flip. While it was Bidoof who died, the rules for the run demand a sacrifice. I held my breath and flipped a coin, and it was Pointy's name who came up. Chimeco had been good, but my future plans to take on bosses by relying on Pointy had evaporated. I went back to our roster and called in the big guns. Trico and Chingling entered Craggy Coast and made short work of all other Pokemon on the coast, and in Mount Horn that followed. I wish I'd seen this strategy before losing Pointy, but I couldn't just sit and think about it. We had to persevere. For her sake. Our roster was growing as we had an underwhelming Ariados named Web Fodder and a Wingull that we named Captain Wington. Wingull may not seem like it, but he is the perfect encounter for the next part of this run. Foggy Forest. Wingull's moveset was impressive, boosting Growl to lower attack, Stab Water Gun, and Wing Attack. These moves would do us very well in Foggy Forest, but the flying and water type would mean only one Pokemon could hit us for huge damage. The Foggy Forest Pachirisu with their spark attacks would do 4 times damage to Wingull, but the terrain would play to our advantage. You see, Fog and PMD weakens electric type moves by half. This means that Pachirisu would only be 2 times as effective, as opposed to 4. Wingull's biggest threat would only OHKO on high rolls, and that's if it used Spark. So it wasn't free, but if we avoided the electric knockout, we would be able to hit every other enemy with stab super effective attacks. Wingull was the perfect Mon at the perfect time. Captain Wington and Chimeco continued and were able to clear Foggy Forest and the forest path to add more members to our party. But these additions left something to be desired. Cherry the Cherubi and Crikey the Kricketot joined our team. Of all the Pokemon we could have rolled, these two were some of the worst additions, and you can tell by my reaction to rolling them. Or at least I thought these were terrible encounters. Little did I know, these Pokemon would prove me completely wrong. We were about to enter our second boss dungeon, and while we had lots of Pokemon, a lot of them didn't seem very useful. The rock, ground, and fire types in Steam Cave presented a huge problem, and even after we clear the cave, we have to face a Groudon who is insanely strong. Groudon is level 30, and we have to fight him in a cave with harsh sunlight. That means water moves are weakened. Groudon has some crazy good moves. Slash for high critical hit damage, Scary Face that can lower speed, Ancient Power that hits hard and raises all his stats, and Mud Slap that can lower accuracy and hit with stab ground, and lastly Bulk Up, which raised both its attack and defense. This would make Groudon harder to kill, and it would also mean that every one of his attacks would become an OHKO. But Groudon is still broken even without stat raises. Trico was our strongest Pokemon against Groudon, and even it could barely survive an Ancient Power or a slash critical hit. I look back through our reserves. None of them could reasonably survive all of Groudon's attacks. To increase our odds, we had to beat Groudon without getting hit. That is when I saw the unlikely perfect duo to counter Groudon, starting with Cherry the Cherubi. Cherubi's Chlorophyll ability uses Groudon's sunlight against it by letting Cherry double speed in sunlight. That, along with Magic Leaf and Leech Seed, meant Cherry could sustain HP while launching strong attacks that weren't affected by weather. But Cherry wasn't going to be able to navigate Steam Cave alone. The fire, flying, and bug types that exist there would be a huge problem. Enter Captain Wingull, the Escort. With water and flying type stab moves, together they entered Steam Cave confident. But then this happened. More like Pokemon abilities and stuff. Yeah, hey, thanks, Salted. This Groudon fight is looking kind of rough. I'm not sure. Do you like? Ooh, I don't like that he is. Okay. Let's hold on. We do have an Orberry. I'm gonna try to pop that. Hopefully they don't just quick attack again. Okay. They're bullying me. Help. Cherry, do something. This cannot be right. Okay, well, Supersonic. Yeah, Supersonic pretty much gets rid of him. No, I want to do the hit. Okay, and then I think Wing Attack should be an OHKO. Okay, it is after the Helping Hand. Then Wing Attack. Okay, that was a close one. A close call. I couldn't afford to get cocky again or lose focus. If we lost Wingull or Cherry, the run could very well end here. Shaken but not broken, the duo challenged Groudon. But immediately, the plan seems to go haywire when Chlorophyll doesn't appear to activate. This compounds into a misclick, and just like that, we're on the back foot. But we wanted Groudon in range, because Captain Winkton had been hiding something specifically for Groudon. That's right, Captain Winkton had been challenging the spirit of Clampy and unleashed Supersonic. And even better, Cherry's Chlorophyll activates, allowing it to attack twice in a turn. As Groudon ran away in confusion, Wingull growled, lowering its attack, while Cherry supported with Helping Hand, boosting Wingull. Once boosted, Wingull started launching water pulses. But then, Groudon broke free, and again made a run at the duo. But another confusion sent Groudon on the run again. Wingull was sniping Groudon with water pulse, until disaster struck. Wait, Magic Leaf is not ranged? No. Okay, we had him down enough. So let's bring him. I'm slowed though. What can I do? Okay, I have to use Confusion here. Yeah, we have to use Supersonic here. Okay, that's okay. Items. I think we have an Oranberry. We have one Oranberry. I need to stop reading chat. I need to lock in. I'm slowed, so it's just like not doing what I want him to do. Okay. Team, Cherry. I need you to get away. Well, I would love. Hold on. Let's do moves. I would love it if you could get a Magic Leaf on and a that. So let's see if we can get a turn of this in before we. Because that was scary. Water Pulse now. Okay, lock in Davis. There we go. We got him leeched. That's good. Magic Leaf doing huge, dude. Cherub's doing work here. Come on, Groudon. Don't hide at the bottom of my screen. Makes for bad content when you're on this side. There we go! Let's go! I had doubted Cherry, but he was the perfect Pokemon at the perfect time. And with the expedition over, Pointy had been avenged. With the expedition complete, we got access to a roll of great Pokemon. Fire type especially was lacking on our team. But again, we left the encounter disappointed, as we got an Illumise. Another bug added to the team seemed disappointing, but we would need plenty of soldiers for the battle ahead. As the notoriously hard Ant Plains looms in the distance, I knew that our losses would soon be growing. The Ant Plains mobs were strong, boasting strong electric types. At the end of the dungeon, we would need to take on an 8 Pokemon mob boss fight, headlined by a powerful Manectric. But we did just get access to something that would help our odds. After the expedition, we could now bring up 2 allies, along with the hero and partner. The allies also wouldn't trigger a game over when fainting. My strategy was simple: bring Trico and Cherry as the main duo. Their electric resistances and access to self-healing would keep them alive in a long fight, but my strategy hinged on a grim prospect. I needed sacrificial allies. The numbers of the gang were too overwhelming, but sending 2 allies out first to weaken the tribe would help rebalance the matchup. Looking at the list, I ultimately landed on Tangy the Tangela and Webfodder the Ariados. While I thought they were expendable, the duo surprised me on the way to Ant Plains. Webfodder was a glass cannon. Infestation boosting bug-type moves meant it could hit hard and sustain with Bug Bite and Leech Life. It also had a strong ranged Shadow Sneak and a String Shot, capable of lowering enemy speed. Tangy also had great move with Sleep Powder, as well as Absorb to keep it alive. This group flew through Ant Plains. Tangy and Webfodder were proving more than useful, and I was starting to grow attached to them. Maybe there was a way we could beat the whole tribe without casualties. With hope for our expendables in my heart, we stepped forward to confront the gang. Okay, let's go. Let's do it. Who believes? Okay, lock in. Okay, so we're all really far apart. What is the one thing I want everybody to do? Probably want a Helping Hand to start. Tangela. You probably need to Ingrain to start. You can hit them with Shadow Sneak. Yeah, you could do either of these, honestly. Just don't Bug Bite. I mean, you hopefully they'll have to do one of those. Is there anything I can Screech? I can Screech that one. I don't think I can Screech that one. Okay, so that's it. Because the Screech goes across the whole room. I mean, this is the only thing I can do, so we'll check it out. Hopefully it goes across. No, it doesn't. Okay, Shadow Sneak, good start. Quick attack. Okay, that was fast. Okay, That's not good. There's no way I can power up. That's the thing. I think we want to try to sleep this guy. That didn't start well. Yeah, I think we want to use some of our seeds now. We picked up sleep. Okay, that's good. Yeah, let's boost up. Ariados is kind of putting in work now. Hopefully, I just need to be able to absorb it back in. That's the thing. Well, what do we want everybody else to be using? Team, web fodder. I feel like I want you to be doing probably not any more string shot. Probably just leech lifing, right? Keep himself healthy. I know it's not like a strong move, but like hopefully he can keep himself alive. We'll hit and absorb here. Hopefully get rid of this guy in one hit. Nice. Helping hand I think was really needed there. Like I'm hoping we can just do helping hand and then you needed to hit that, man. Web fodder is like really holding in there, which is good. I need Cherubi to start getting some health back. I need you to use leech life. I need you to use leech seed, yeah. And then we'll just do an absorb. I think we just have to get health back and make sure we don't die. Like that's the move. Tangela went down fucking instantly. Okay, I like how. Okay, that's not good, but he's getting health, which is good. I hope absorb will still one-hit KO these guys. They will. Okay, I don't know if I'm still boosted or not, but yeah, there we go. Okay, this strategy's working. We're starting to believe. I'm starting to believe at least. Yeah, we'll just keep on taking these guys out, and hopefully it's just putting us in Manectric. We hope he doesn't have Fire Fang. Okay, I think Cherubi's in a pretty good spot. Is he like recovering? Team, Ariados, Tactics, go after foes, switch him to step forward, then we'll hit a Screech right now. Defense. Okay, we got leech seeded. Okay, so he's recovering a lot of health per turn. We're all recovering health per turn. They really boomed Tangela, didn't they? Okay, let's go. This should be GG's. We should be able to recover all of our health from now on out. Yeah, Cherubi's got him seeded. Nice. That was so strong. Web fodder is actually really strong. Okay, that was really strong too. I want to just step in. I don't want to risk like a crit or something ending this. And there we go. R.I.P. Tangy. We had won the battle, but lost a brave soldier. Tangy had bought us a few precious turns that truly turned the tide of the battle. I thought Tangy and web fodder were expendable, but now I see their true value. Was Tangy's sacrifice worth it? I didn't know, but I also didn't have time to dwell on our loss, because in this Nuzlocke, death breeds life, and in Tangy's place, we roll a Famfi to join our cause. With Pointy and now Tangy gone, our party was getting weaker, but we would need all the strength we could muster for the next gauntlet. We had to run through Northern Desert twice, Quicksand Cave, and then finally fight a mythical Mess Spirit as a boss fight. The combo of ground-type Pokemon and a boss at the end meant that Captain Wington in the lead was a must. But the desert presented two new challenges. 1. Hunger. No items meant we would likely start to starve and gradually lose health at some point at the end of the dungeon. And 2. Sandstorms. They raged through this part of the game, meaning we couldn't just passively heal, but I had an answer on our sidelines. Killumise, the Illumise, and Cherry, the Cherubi. I was initially disappointed to see Illumise, but the newly named Killumise was actually a great asset. The ability Tinted Lens meant that her quick attack always did solid damage, and it had access to Moonlight, which would heal the whole team. Cherry, now being at a higher level, meant that it got Sunny Day. This got rid of the sandstorms that hit for passive damage, and decreased accuracy against sand-veiled Pokemon like Sandslash. This trio was flying through Northern Desert, and then disaster struck. Like, lets you attack twice. I can't remember, did Wing Attack and Flutter Gun kill this guy? Are you kidding me? No. No. No, are you kidding me? As you can tell by my reaction, this death stung. Captain Wington, the hero of the expedition and slayer of Groudon, had fallen. He was the captain of one of our greatest victories, but now he was sailing the seas to Valhalla. Without Wingull, we no longer had Supersonic, and the looming Mesprit boss fight would be much more challenging without it. We subbed in Shellos, aka Shellmaxer 2, whose stab water pulse would replace some of Wingull's offensive prowess. Shellmaxer 2 was filling in nicely, and Killumise was proving to be the MVP of this dungeon so far. No, we could use hidden power is what we're using for grass type Pokemon. Even though, does it do less than Mud Slap? Oh my gosh, Carnivine has Levitate. Why aren't you using Quick Attack? Does Quick Attack not cut corners? I guess it doesn't. With low power points and low belly, Shellmaxer 2 succeeded where Captain Wington failed and got through the Northern Desert. But Captain Wington's death would just be the beginning of our losses. The next part of the game makes the player complete Northern Desert, along with a similar but more dangerous quicksand cave, and tops it off with a Mesprit boss fight. We changed Shellmaxer 2 out for newly acquired Aaron named Iron Joe, and switched the partner to Little Grove, the Trico. Iron Joe had great stats and moves. Iron Defense would keep him safe, while Metal Claw, Mud Slap, and Headbutt did solid damage, and had good secondary effects. Steel typing is busted defensively in this generation. Prior to Gen 4, Steel resisted the following: Normal, Grass, Ice, Flying, Psychic, Bug, Rock, Ghost, Dragon, Dark, and Steel. Steely Joe would act as our front wall, tanking hits and letting Trico hit from behind with Quick Attack. Lastly, we added Web Fodder as our Mesprit answer. String Shot and Stab Infestation, as well as super effective Leech Life, should provide enough damage, support, and sustain to solo the mythical Pokemon. But the desert wasn't done with us yet, and this would be where Web Fodder met his demise. Are you kidding me? Are you literally on the last floor? It's gonna do that to me. Why aren't you guys doing anything? Do something. Literally on the last floor, we lose Ariados. Literally on the last floor. That sucks. Ariados was like our Mesprit counter. Another brother down. Web Fodder, the gladiator, who had been sent to certain death in Amp Plains and come back a hero. With Ariados down, we had lost two of our most important Pokemon for the run in the same dungeon. We had made it to Quicksand Cave, but our Mesprit counter was gone. The overall strategy was still sound, we just needed to find someone to fill Web Fodder's boots. And it turns out, we had the Walmart version of Ariados on our bench. Crikey the Kricketot. Now this Pokemon is terrible. Only learning 3 moves: Growl, Bite, and Bug Bite. Mesprit had strong attacks, but it had low health. This new plan for Crikey was to sacrifice itself to Mesprit. It would Bug Bite for stab super effective damage, and buy time for Aaron to boost defense. In the dungeon, Lil Grove, Aaron, and Killumise made a great team. Iron Joe rarely took big hits, and Killumise and Little Grove could rain quick attacks from the back lines. The Northern Desert was no joke, with mons such as Tyranitar that could wipe out our back line in one hit. Why is it starting me with a... It's starting me with a Tyranitar like every time now. Okay, that scared me. Luckily, it is not stab. A fire thing, really, guys? After some close calls, somehow everybody made it to the Mesprit fight. This Pokemon is a glass cannon. It is guaranteed to know Future Sight, which negated the effects of lowering attack or raising defense. It also typically had Swift, Protect, and Confusion. Can't back him off of us. The battle started, and we sent Kricketot forward to meet his doom. While Trico was great in the dungeon before, a Confusion from Mesprit would likely OHKO Trico, meaning we couldn't afford to have Trico get anywhere close to the action. We'll get some Mud Slaps in, we'll just feel it out a little bit. Does Mesprit have Levitate? I didn't realize Mesprit had Levitate. I think it does though. Okay, we can just launch stab moves now. Only use Moonlight now. Crikey. tactics. Get away from here. Hopefully we get a moonlight coming in. There we go. There we go. Okay, we're good to go now. I'm actually going to have Lil Grove join the fight. Because I think we're in a good spot now. Okay, there we go. We did it. We did it. We made it out of the fight with everyone, even Kricketune, thanks to Killumize's clutch Moonlight. Just like Tangy before, I'd callously sent a Pokemon to certain death. But Killumize was showing me that there was another way, that every Pokemon's life was precious and worth holding on to. Killumize was proving to be an MVP teammate, and her healing Moonlight was saving the run. She was rising to the occasion. After seeing the deaths of Captain Wington and Webfodder, she seemed determined to not let any more of her friends fall. Unfortunately, we were only rewarded with a Nincada from Quicksand Cave. Are you, dude? I'm so fucking mad. That's literally the only bad Pokemon. Even if we got his Evolve, it would have been good, but Nincada just stinks. I mean, what does Nincada even do? Like, we have like all the Burby Pokemon now. We were losing top-notch team members, and they were being replaced by reserves. If this trend continued, we wouldn't have the firepower to get to the last dungeons, especially because Grovyle, the next boss, takes a huge step up in difficulty. Now, this is a little bit controversial, but because losing to Grovyle advances the game, most of the chat thought a death on Grovyle shouldn't count, but I disagreed. This brought up an interesting strategy. Do we sack a Weakmon to Grovyle to make progress, or do we send our strong Pokemon forward to potentially meet their demise if they fail? On top of that, Crystal Cave and Crystal Chasm would have to be beaten back to back, and had a strong group of Pokemon in them. So far, the dungeons had proved more difficult than bosses, so I decided to make a team of 2 solely focused on reaching Grovyle. For this, we brought back Shellmaxer 2 and the always present Killumize. After entering the dungeon, we immediately learned that the game had changed. For the first time in the series, we encountered the dreaded Monster House. We retreat, but Killumize instantly gets to critical health. Shellmaxer takes his place, and finally the team can retreat to the safety of a hallway. Here's where Shellmaxer 2's moveset really shined. His Water Pulse and Mud Bomb destroyed everything in his path, but the cost was great. Almost all of Shellmaxer 2's attacking PP was gone, and this dungeon wasn't done with us. Sheldon's using Swagger to confuse Shellmaxer and Protect to block attacks dried up our remaining power points. Luckily, Killumize was still holding everything together, with clutch Moonlights keeping this run alive. We finished Crystal Cave deathless and moved on to Crystal Chasm, but not before I struggled to complete the easiest puzzle in the game. I didn't see what color. I wasn't paying attention. Wait, I wasn't paying attention. What colors are these? I wasn't paying attention. Oh my god, hold on. I have to look up the crystal colors. Oh my gosh, does it not tell me? To solve the must turn all the crystals blue. Okay, I didn't think that was the case, but let's see. This is blue. I feel like that's almost blue. This is like embarrassing. I wasn't paying attention. I didn't pay attention in class. I was too busy balding. About how much Levi sucks. Okay, there we go. After needing to look up the answer, we continued through Crystal Chasm, which went much smoother than the previous dungeon. That is, until the boss fight. In this boss fight, a single Leaf Blade would end Shellmaxer. But I wasn't going to sacrifice Shellmaxer 2. No longer would I send a Pokemon to certain death. I would protect and value each teammate's life, just like Killumize had shown me how to do. And besides that, I had a plan. I knew that all of Grovyle's attacks were physical, and Grovyle had another fatal weakness. He was male. This meant that Killumize could greatly drop Grovyle's attacking stats with Charm, and Harden would bulk Shellmaxer up. Within 2 turns, Grovyle's basic attack no longer even damaged Shellmaxer. This allowed him to launch body slams, eventually scoring a paralysis. From here on out, the match was all but over. Shellmaxer and Killumize bullied this optional boss into oblivion. The Crystal Dungeons and Grovyle had been completed, and finally we were gaining momentum, as we added 2 great Pokemon, Gravedigger, the Graveler, and Glammy, the Glameow. Killumise was proving herself with her tinted lens and moonlight support. I was confident we could beat any dungeon. The team entered the dystopian future dungeons with a lot of confidence. Little did I know, some of our most important friends would never leave this horrible place. We entered the first dungeon, Chasm Cave, with our strongest lead team, Iron Joe the Aaron, and Killumise the Illumise. The level cap remained the same as the previous dungeons, but the difficulty ramped up significantly. The mobs were tough, and the strongest were Driftloons. These Pokemon have Unburden, and they never have items, meaning they always get a double attack, similar to Cherry's Chlorophyll ability. They had high defense and could do a number on our strongest team. Oh, and Drifblimps explode when they're defeated. But our star team was able to make it through with 0 deaths. Confidence still booming, we entered Dark Hill. Dark Hill had strong ghost-type Pokemon that could hide in walls. These Pokemon couldn't be hit by any of our moves, and we would have to draw them out to engage them. Also, Dusknoirs had the pressure ability, causing us to drain power points when engaging them. Iron Joe and Killumise again grinded through the dungeon, but it was a total of 15 floors, and the length had taken its toll. Iron Joe was out of all move PP. Killumise was also completely run dry. And right before the staircase stood a Gengar. I think this is the last floor, so. Yeah. Okay, not good. Yeah, step up and fight me, coward. Okay, not good. No! No, Illumise, we were so close. It's always on the 15th floor. It's always on the 15th floor. Killumise, the healer, had perished. Killumise was the MVP for the mid part of the game. She had saved so many friends in this run. And ultimately, I failed to protect her as she had done for so many others. Without her, the endgame was going to get a lot harder. No one in the party could replace the support that she provided, both emotionally and on the battlefield. We could not afford to lose another Pokemon here. I subbed out Iron Joe and replaced him with Lil Grove, who could sustain himself with Absorb and Giga Drain. For the partner, I subbed in the newly added Glameow Glammy. Glameow had Fake Out support, which is very strong in this game, as well as Feint Attack for the ghost types. Oh, sorry, the cat just got fed. She's locked in here with me. That also means it's 6:20, which means I gotta get to work soon. Fury Swipes was strong and could one-shot even ghost types if it hit twice. And a secret weapon that could dismantle the Spiritomb in the next dungeon. We made it through the Sealed Ruins, but the next dungeon seemed too dangerous for Trico, who was so close to learning an absolutely broken move. Again, we called on Iron Joe to lead us through the dungeon, and at the end of the dungeon loomed another boss, Spiritomb. The main issue with these dungeons were the Grimers, who could hit Iron Joe with Mud Bomb and resist most of his moves. This made it really difficult to make progress, but that's what Glameow was here for. Iron Joe had also just reached the level 32 level cap, which allowed him to learn a vital move going forward. They made it through the dungeon and up to the Spiritomb boss to rescue Grovyle. Now, Spiritomb posed a serious threat. Like Mesprit, he was a glass cannon, boosting the same HP, but Spiritomb could hit much harder. It had the special attacking move Ominous Wind that could hit the whole room and possibly boost all of his stats. We could not let Spiritomb use this move, as it would 2-hit KO either of our Pokemon, and we couldn't boost special defense or lower Spiritomb's special attack. But we had a plan. The fight started. Glameow fakes out Spiritomb, guaranteeing that it can't use a move this turn, and instead forcing the AI to step towards the team. Iron Joe then used Mud Slap to lower Spiritomb's accuracy, and Glammy unleashed her hidden move, Hypnosis. With Spiritomb asleep, we had 3 to 6 turns to boost up and wail on Spiritomb. Iron Joe also revealed his last secret weapon, the multi-turn Protect. Spiritomb had its accuracy dropped, and it couldn't damage Iron Joe. When it woke up, I hoped that it wouldn't target Glammy. But unfortunately, the worst case scenario. Spiritomb unleashed a Sucker Punch, dropping Glammy to 30 HP. If Glammy's Hypnosis missed here, she could get wiped out by Spiritomb. Luckily, Hypnosis hit, and one more Iron Head was enough to end the fight. We should just be able to wail on it now, because it only has 400 health. There we go, and we did it. There we go. Let's go, guys. Let's go. With the fight ended, we rolled our encounters for Dark Hill and Sealed Ruins and landed on Spooky the Bonnet and Metang the Matang. Clearing the next easy dungeon at Dusk Forest also granted us a powerful Miss Magus, who we named Miss Magic. The team was growing when we entered Deep Dusk Forest. The party for this dungeon had 4 members, including a mandatory Grovyle and Celebi, but the enemies in the Deep Dusk Forest were tough, with Steelix, Aggron, and Rhydon posing huge threats here. Steelix would take at least 3 hits to go down, and Rhydon had a killer move pool. That's even not good. Okay, let's get out of the way a little bit. Are you kidding me? No. No! Okay, Rock Blast! It knows Rock Blast! Another boss fight hero down. Glammy's hypnosis and support moves would be missed greatly. As we approached the end of the game, every Pokemon would matter. But we couldn't let Glammy die in vain. We had to move on, to save the future for her sake. We subbed in Spooky the Bonnet and tried the dungeon again. Spooky sporting Shadow Sneak and Shadow Ball were great support moves, and Bonnet could fill a similar role attacking-wise to Glammy. We made it through the dungeon and back to the present, but the present seemed just as bleak as the imminent future without our friends, Killumise and Glammy. But their sacrifice wasn't in vain, and for it, we gained valuable allies, such as Vulpix for the last dungeon, Spooky the Bayonet, and Miss Magic the Miss Magus from the future. All these Pokemon had freed themselves from the future hellscape, and like Grovyle, got to watch the sunrise for the first time in their lives. Spooky especially stepped up and carried the torch when Glammy went down. But there wasn't any rest. 4 dungeons remain, and they are much more difficult than anything we've seen so far. The bleak future was about getting stronger and recruiting strong new members. But now we're at the endgame, which is simply about survival. The first dungeon back is Tree Shroud Forest. This dungeon has annoying Pokemon, and unfortunately, we ran into some horrible luck. That wasn't me. Like, what you look for in the lead Pokemon is... Oh. Okay. Are you kidding me? What can we do here to give us... Do we have any items? I don't think we have any good, like, items that'll help us here, no. Well, we can probably Iron Defense here. Okay, we'll just protect. Everybody just needs to... But needs to just start going ham on these. They're not a whole lot of super strong Pokemon, which is good. Yeah, this is like one of the strongest monster houses I've seen in, like, a really long bit. We need to... We don't have any orbs or like anything. I think we just need to start like launching strong moves. No, don't use Feint Attack. Use your good moves. Okay, we need to stop that. Imprison? Oh. No, use your good moves. Come on. I just want to change the moves that Bayonet's using. No, don't. Okay, we have to get rid of this Ralts. This Ralts is fucking our shit up. What? What is going on? Oh, he's just warping them all around. Okay, that's kind of... Actually, that's kind of not good for us. I mean, we need... Have we still not been able to move? Guys, I cannot move. They're absolutely booming me. Helping Hand? This is so doomed. I don't even know what was I even supposed to do? Okay, the only thing I could have done Pikachu maybe and discharged the whole room. Like looked for orbs, had a Piracy. This is so Omega cooked though. I haven't moved. I can't even tell. Like I can't do anything. It's just over. Like, I guess they can move. Like, nobody can move. And they're all getting boosted. It was fine till we got imprisoned. We needed to take out 2 more before we got imprisoned. The Alakazams and stuff are at the back now, which is slightly good. This went about as bad as it possibly... Yes, please take that thing out. How come Grovyle can move now but Aaron can't? I like literally didn't move that whole entire time. Now we have to choose which one dies. I'm hoping for 2. To be honest, if I kind of wish Bennett would have died because Aaron's better. Bennett died, but that's good because that's okay because Steely Joe is much better than Bennett. So another. Sorry, Pika. I know, she's upset too. Spooky met his end in Tree Shroud Forest. He had escaped hell and finally seen the sunrise, but his freedom was so short-lived. This is a reminder of what we were fighting for. We needed to defeat Dusknoir and Primal Dialga to free all Pokemon from the apocalyptic future. Luckily, Spooky was the only teammate who made Tree Shroud Forest their resting point. We cleared it on the second try and got one of the best rolls possible. Alakazam. What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's Alakazam. Let's go, guys. Let's go. Alakazam is an awesome draw, as you could tell from my reaction. Our team was shaping up. We had suffered losses, but we had accumulated some strong Pokemon. It was time to stop holding back and unleash our best Pokemon. I subbed in Little Grove the Trico and Pika the Pikachu. Little Grove now had Mega Drain and Agility to give it multiple moves in one turn. Pika had grown so much since the beginning of the game, with powerful electric attacks. The Rock and Water Pokemon in Brine Cave didn't stand a chance. We flew through the dungeon to the Kabutops boss fight. This was another multi-Pokemon fight. We hadn't seen a boss like this since Amp Plains, where we lost Tangy, but we had grown so much since then. Pikachu let out a discharge, KOing half the field. Kabutops then fell shortly after. Our team was much stronger than it was then. We were finally firing on all cylinders as we headed to the Hidden Land. Entering the last 2 dungeons, we had a definitive A-team. Trico and Pikachu had diverse move pools with strong stats, strong attacks, and good support moves. Trico could wall up and heal itself with Mega Drain, while Pikachu would annihilate monster houses and deal huge damage from far away. Our A-team also had a strong substitute. Vulpix is one of the best Pokemon in the game. With these 3, there was nothing we couldn't take on. Behind them were a non-starter but reliable Pokemon. Alakazam, Aaron, Graveler, and Metang filled this group out. I felt confident this effectively gave us 9 lives going into the last 2 dungeons and bosses. But with Trico and Pikachu leading the charge, I was pretty sure we wouldn't need to call up the reserves to finish the game. Or at least I was confident we wouldn't, until this happened. Pikachu, okay. No, that's bad.
Miss.
What the heck? What is going on? What is going on? What is going on? Are you kidding me? What the heck? I'm like literally like I thought this game was like solved. I cannot believe. What was that? 4 misses in a row? This was insanely unlucky. 3 misses in a row. If any of those hits landed, Pika would be alive. But that's just how luck works in this game. You can never count on getting through any dungeon or any boss without losing a member. And now, I had to go back to the drawing board. Pika Discharge was my answer to the 8 Pokemon boss fight that sat at the end of the dungeon. Without Pikachu, I didn't know how we would beat this fight. I still had Trico though, and Trico learned Detect. Trico could launch Stab Mega Drains while invulnerable. Using this, I could potentially even the odds. We also still had Pixie the Vulpix, which could do a lot of what Pika was doing, and Trico was proving himself in the dungeon. This dungeon was tough, but the combo that I was now bringing was tougher. All we had to do was watch out for Magmortars. Okay. I'm like throwing a fucking fit. Are you kidding me? Now we don't have Trico. Lil Grove and Pika were gone. They were the heroes who started this quest. The heroes that helped us fly through the early game. And the heroes that we expected to help us with the end game. And now they were gone. We were on our back foot and struggling to find an answer. Only Vulpix remained from our A-team. We brought up Metang the Metang from the minor leagues and once again set out to conquer the hidden land. Pixie had a great moveset. Flamethrower could keep opponents away, and Imprison and Confuse Ray would make it unlikely that anything takes damage. Pixie could still easily lead us to the promised land, but things immediately started going bad. We keep getting super unlucky with the stair spawns, and by floor 4, we are nearly starving. I need to find food ASAP, or we would lose this run to hunger. Or at least, I thought hunger was my biggest worry. Do I take it? Do I have him take it? It's not. We're actually going to lose this run. With Pixie now gone, my whole A-team had been wiped by the Hidden Land, without even a boss attempt. This run had so much going for it, but without the A-team, I was beginning to have flashbacks of Waterfall Cave and Charmander's demise. I looked at our roster and saw very few strong Pokemon left. The Hidden Land is tough. This dungeon has the widest range of Pokemon types in the game, and they're all strong. Who here was capable of getting through the dungeon and the boss fight that followed? I couldn't see any combinations that guaranteed victory. Every combination had its risk. The thought of losing this run was crushing. I actually took a week off of streaming just to theory craft and test different combinations. And after all that time, the best strategy still seems suicidal. The next combo of heroes called to take on the Hidden Land Gauntlet would be Gravedigger the Graveler and Miss Magic the Miss Magus. Graveler had some crazy strong moves like Rock Blast, Earthquake, and Double Edge. But most importantly, he had the amazing speed up move Rock Polish. Unlike Agility though, it doesn't speed up the whole team. Miss Magus also sported some great support moves and utility moves like Growl and Confuse Ray. She had a strong Shadow Ball for range damage and Pain Split for sustain. Her ability Levitate would also negate any friendly fire earthquake damage from Gravedigger. This team was the Avengers. They needed to finish out the dungeon, or it was hopeless. And ironically, their strongest attacks are both moves that had previously killed teammates. Rock Blast, which took down Glammy, and Shadow Ball, which took down Killumise. Tools which had caused so much grief would now be needed to save the run. This combo was my last-ditch hope against the boss, but I hadn't even made it to the boss yet, and the party was somehow less suited to take on the dungeon than the previous 3 attempts. But beating the dungeon would mean nothing if I couldn't beat Dusknoir. There were some close calls, but the team pushed through to the end, and we were finally facing down Dusknoir and the Sableye. But while our party had a plan for this fight, it was far from guaranteed. Earthquake would hit the whole room, but had low accuracy, and it had little chance to kill the Sableye. We would need to hit them twice to guarantee a kill. There was also a more grim problem. While Levitate prevented Miss Magus from taking damage, it didn't protect Grovyle. Grovyle could maybe last 3 hits from Earthquake. The run was hanging on 2 huge gambles. 1, we needed to hit most of the Sableye with 2 Earthquakes immediately. 2, we needed Grovyle to stay alive after 2 Earthquakes. This was risky, but it was our last hope. We needed this to pay off. Okay, that's big damage on Grovyle. Okay, we got most of them. Grovyle is guaranteed to survive another. So I say we hit it. Yes! 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 Okay, one more. No, guys, hit the dead, please. Okay, Grovyle healed itself, yes, let's go! Okay, this is like pretty much free now. We want to go only Confuse right here, and then we'll do a double edge here. Let's go, okay. Let's go, okay. It's all Rock Blast from here on out, baby. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on, end it. Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Yes! Yes! Jesus, yes! We did it. We'd conquered the Hidden Land. and it almost cost us everything. But like so many times in this run, unexpected heroes rose to the occasion. Only 23 floors of Temporal Tower and a Primal Dialga stood in our way. But who could lead us across the finish line? Primal Dialga was no joke, and its Roar of Time would have the chance to OHKO our whole entire team. Not one Pokemon could stand up to this move. Pixie was supposed to be our Dialga stopper, with Confuse Ray and Imprison, but she was gone. Pika was supposed to be here to hit Primal Dialga with T-Wave and Light Screen, but she was gone. Lil Grove was one of the few Pokemon who could self-heal and detect attacks, but he was also gone. We had lost our A-team. Their sacrifice resulted in progress. Without our A-team, the path forward seemed foggy. We needed to find a combo that could take this monster on. I first filtered out all the Pokemon that could not survive a Dialga hit. This left only Aaron, Alakazam, Metang, Mismagius, Omnistar, Graveler, and an Abomasnow that was obtained from the Hidden Land. At first, Gravedigger and Mismagic combo seemed like a good idea. Without Grovyle, Graveler could launch multiple Earthquakes each turn, and Mismagius could reduce turns with Confuse Ray. But Earthquake only had a 50% chance to hit each time, and would do suboptimal damage. Graveler could also only survive 2 hits of any kind. With no sustain or protection moves, I knew this combo couldn't work. Similarly, Metang could survive 1 hit, but it had no way to avoid a second. Also, we had to get through a plethora of Steel and Dragon types to even reach Dialga. These Pokemon just couldn't make the cut. Next, we had the combo of Protect users, Omnistar and Aaron. They both learned Protect, meaning they had a 75% chance of being invulnerable for 3 to 5 turns. This seemed like a good option, but doing the calcs, they would each need to hit 5 Protects in a row. If any of those failed, it would be curtains. The odds didn't seem worth it to me. Mismagius and Abomasnow also seemed viable. Confuse Ray and Grass Whistle could limit the amount of attacks Dialga could dish out. But while they were 100% accurate moves, they weren't actually guaranteed to hit. You see, Dialga has the Intimidator IQ skill, which causes a cringe when attacking him. This takes these guaranteed status moves from being 100% accurate to 70% accurate. Finally, we had Alakazam. His offensive stats are great, and his move pool is somehow better, boasting some of the best moves in the game. If he used a Calm Mind, he would be guaranteed to survive a Roar of Time. Using Reflect reduced all physical damage taken by half, meaning with this combo, damage from Dialga could be greatly reduced. When Alakazam did take damage, Recover could heal it off, and he had a strong Stab Psychic. Lastly, Disable could cause paralysis, limiting Dialga's moves, but Alakazam raised 2 questions. 1. Disable is good, but doesn't have the same issues that Abomasnow Grass Whistle has? And 2. I listed 5 necessary moves to beat Dialga, but we can only bring 4. The answer to the first question, Alakazam has Inner Focus as an ability, which prevents flinching. In PMD, cringing and flinching are counted as the same thing, meaning Alakazam has a guaranteed way of paralyzing Dialga every 2 to 3 turns. Second, yes, we will not be able to bring all the moves necessary to protect Alakazam. We will have to rely on a bit of luck. After weighing all the options, I bring Alakazam, newly named Zammy, and Iron Joe the Aaron. With these 2, we had a strategy to beat Dialga, but it came with risks, especially on the climb up. Alakazam only brought 1 attacking move, and it only had 10 power points. Additionally, with low defense, he was vulnerable to a lot of Pokemon on the climb. To combat this, we brought Iron Joe. Like many dungeons before, Iron Joe would take the brunt of the attacks and defeat as many enemies as possible to preserve PP. Bronzongs especially drained our team's power points. Their great typing and high defense was nightmarish. Additionally, Salamances had Dragon Breath, which could OHKO Alakazam if it hit a crit. This team somehow made it to the top. The grind was over, but the gamble was just beginning. While this team was put together for this fight specifically in mind, it was far from guaranteed. Okay, so let's break down the Primal Dialga strat. Scariest part of the game. We step up, Dialga meets us. We know this is going to happen because we've already gone to the save state. And then we have Disable. And on Iron Joe, we have Mudslap. So what we're going to use is, instead of using Iron Joe's good best moves, we're going to use Protect and Mudslap. We mostly wanted the Mudslap this turn because this turn's free. So Dialga, typically when you attack him, even with a status move like Disable, he can make you cringe and that attack can make you flinch. But Alakazam, or Zammy, has the move, he has the ability Inner Focus, which prevents him from cringing. So Alakazam is one of the few Pokemon in the game that cannot cringe. He also has the move Disable. And what Disable does is Disable will prevent the target from, it'll cause paralysis, which is 2 to 3 turns where Dialga is guaranteed not to attack in this game. You'll see. Disable eats his turn, and then we're having Iron Joe will do most of the attacking, and he'll be using Mud Slap. So Mud Slap isn't very strong, but it is one of the few types that's super effective against Dialga, being Dragon and Steel, and it also lowers his accuracy. So what this means is that Dialga has less of a chance to hit us when he breaks out. He'll have a turn each time he breaks out of Confusion to hit us. We have to hope that, like, the best case scenario is that he uses, the worst case scenario is that he uses Roar of Time. But if he uses any other move, then what we can have is we can have here, so this is, oops, hold on. We have a guaranteed Protect this turn. Protect isn't accurate, but Dialga will at least have one more turn where he won't be able to move. So because of that, we can have Alakazam use Reflect and Iron Joe use Protect. So this turn, when he breaks out of Protect, if he uses a physical move onto Alakazam, Alakazam will be able to survive. Roar of Time, Alakazam might not be able to survive, but its accuracy has been severely lowered. If he chooses to attack Aaron, which Protect doesn't keep him from attacking Aaron, then Aaron can absorb it with his, he can absorb it with Protect. And hopefully we get another Mud Slap in here, and Iron Joe will be hammering with Psychic. Okay, good hit. We're already like halfway there. Okay, so that's the cringe ability. So he can make Iron Joe cringe, but he can't make Alakazam cringe, which is such a huge part of this run. Yeah, Mud Slap there, Alakazam, disabled. So we just need to keep this Pokemon not moving. So that gets 2 accuracy drops. That's big. We still have Protect. We still have everything else. He's still disabled, so we're free to Psychic with Alakazam. Okay, that's 4 accuracy drops. So it's a low chance that anything hits us, but like if he breaks out and tries to hit us, we're done. Like it will be an OHKO. And that is why we switch him onto Protecting, and we hit him with another Psychic. And then hopefully Protect hits. But it missed. That's okay. That's why we do Protect early. That's why yes. So Protect affects Disable's PP. So if you've noticed, we've hit him for about like 300-ish health. We're gonna be pretty close to like the actual PP limit here. Aaron's Protect failed, so I'm gonna make sure he uses Protect again. And we are still free. So again, this is again where he can get bad too. So Protect can miss in this game. It's only got a 75% chance. Now Aaron has 2 chances in a row to do that. But we need Aaron to Protect here. And it hits. Okay, cool. See, in Dragon Claw, it didn't even do any damage from Reflect. So Reflect straight up halves the amount of damage. Disable. But Dragon Claw is like an OHKO without Reflect. Like, I am telling you, it is an OHKO. I've run the numbers. Everything that this thing does. Ooh, no, wait. This isn't going well. I messed up. We need you to get some Mud Slaps in. And we need to, yeah, now is a Psychic. Because we need damage. We only need a couple more Mud Slaps. Let's go! Let's go! Let's freaking go! Oh my gosh. There was a time that I literally thought that this run was going to be impossible. We did it. The world had been saved. But as Alakazam fades away, I can't help but remember all the friends we lost along the way. Killumize, Web Fodder, Little Grove, Muddy, Expendable, Shellmaxer 1 and 2, Clampy, Pixie, Pika, Glammy, Spooky, Captain Wington, Pointy, and Tangy. You may all be gone, but you will never be forgotten. Thanks everyone for watching this video, and thank you to the people here for supporting the channel during the stream. If you'd like to get your name here or support the channel, consider checking out my Patreon. We have some cool perks there, like a tutorial showing you how to Nuzlocke it and how to actually edit the starters mid-game. So if you're interested in Nuzlocking it or doing a challenge like that, I suggest checking that video out. Also planning on doing a more like full ROM where you can always edit the starters without having to do save editing. That's gonna come future, but right now we got the Magikarp and Feebas ROM tutorial on how to edit, tutorial on how to Nuzlocke, ad-free videos, early videos, and polls on what you want to come next, as well as like naming rights for any other Nuzlocke material. So it's $3 a month and it really helps out this channel. Thank you.